Today I'm going to run you through how to create custom signals via API in Duo Copilot. So think about custom API signals as a way for you to bring any external data you're collecting through any source into Duo Copilot by API. So this gives you full flexibility to send leads to Duo Copilot from pretty much any source you want, like a Clay table, from a Zapier workflow, from a spreadsheet, even from Claude. So if you're using Claude or any other general purpose AI agent and you wanted to do some research on your behalf on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, wherever, and then from that research pick up leads and send them to Duo, this is something that you can as well. So here I have for instance, a routine on Claude that checks for interactions with this GitHub repository, qualifies the leads, and then pushes them to my Amplemarket custom signal. But you could do this for like podcast attendees, so on and so forth. For the sake of the example here today, I am going to use a Clay table as an example. So I have a Clay table here where I have some leads, and then I'm using Clay to do some research on the top 3 AI products that these persons might use. And then I want to use the HTTP API function in Clay to send, anytime there's a new lead detected in this table, Clay will send these leads to Amplemarket, which will create a custom signal for that lead in Duo Copilot and a personalized sequence for me to review and just send. So how do we go about this? So for custom API signals, so first thing that you're going to want to do is to, of course, give it a name, any name you want. Second, as you know, in Duo Copilot, when leads pop up in the feed, they have a signal label associated with them. For example, funding announcement here, but this would be like uses AI products as just an example, which will then make it so that when leads generated from this signal pop up in the feed, they have this uses AI product label, beyond, of course, being associated with a specific signal and its name. Then when it comes to the configuration itself, there's 2 things that you need to do. The first one is to inform Duo of whether this is going to be a person level or a company level signal, meaning are you going to send individual leads or are you going to send companies to Duo? Here in this Clay workflow, we're working with leads, so I'm going to select people. And then the second step is, so a custom API signal basically will give you a unique endpoint, a unique link to which you should send leads to. And so this link is prepared to receive leads or companies and process them and generate leads. But before you can send real leads to this link and have the signal work for you, you need to first send a test request to this URL so that we know what data to expect from you, right? So we need to make sure that we can work with the data that you're going to send to the signal. So for this example, I'm just going to copy this unique URL, and then Amplemarket's already waiting for you to send test data. So that's precisely what I'm going to do over at Clay. So I'm going to edit this column. I am going to change this endpoint field to the endpoint that Amplemarket gave me. This is the body of information, so the payload that I'm going to send to the signal. I am going to hit save, and then I am going to click run on one of these cells, just because I just want to send an example. And we already got feedback here, a successful feedback code from Clay here. But if we go back to the signal, we will see that indeed Amplemarket has already received the test data. We can even see it in detail here. So this is the exact data that's being sent from this row here. So the data is here. We can confirm the enrichment mapping. So we're enriching off of LinkedIn. This one shouldn't be selected, so let's deselect it. So we're enriching off of the LinkedIn that we sent, example. And then, so this is the basic of the setup. And with this, we've already sort of like set up the signal so that it already knows what to expect in terms of data that's being sent. And so you should set similar payloads to this one going forward. But we also want to customize the messaging. So like how Duo will generate messaging for these leads. And there's 2 steps there. The first one is to define the fields that should be used for the messaging personalization. And here I'm just going to use all of the fields I sent related with the AI products that they use. And then we will want to, and there's a few tips that you can use here. We will want to explain to Duo what these leads are and how to use the context associated with them. So in this case, the AI products they use. In this case here, I already have a prompt ready where I'm just saying that, just as an example, these are warm leads that came through my website and the top 3 AI products they most likely use, just as an example. Of course, from here, onwards, the setup of the custom signal will be the same setup you do for other signals. So if you want to filter the leads further, so if you're sending leads and you want to filter them further, you can use our filters to apply filters to this list. And you can, of course, distribute the signal as you like. In this case, I'm just going to send all of the leads for me, but I also have other distribution rules I could use. So I'm going to create a signal. So now we have the signal created, which means that going forward, any new requests or leads pushed to that unique endpoint will generate leads in Duo Copilot. And we can run that test right now. So we can go here, select all of these leads, and we can run for all of these rows the output again. So this information was already sent to Duo, and now if we go back to Duo and we run, we can even go to the volume column here and run an availability test to see how many leads the signal has already found. Bear in mind that Duo won't generate the leads right away, so it still has to process the leads, and it still might take some time for the leads to pop up in your feed, but they should already be recognized by the signal availability tests. So let's pause this for a bit. And here we go. So basically, we run the test. We can see that the 5 leads that we sent got pushed to the signal. 2 of them seem to pass the filters, and they should be distributed in the next 24 hours. For some examples, so here you can see some of the test custom signals that we have here, where we have like agents, in this case, Claude agents that are doing research and sending leads to our feeds on a daily basis with information they found. And so you can see the custom API signals that were set up in this case and the output of those signals.